Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Guess what I got? Finally got an air compressor. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. And this is a really good one. This is a California Air Tools air compressor, ultra quiet model 4610 AC. It's a 1 horsepower unit with 4.6 liters of air capacity. And also these are aluminum tanks, which I really wanted because I'm always paranoid that the tank is gonna rust and then explode and then I'll die. So these are aluminum, they shouldn't have any rusting, but it's not all good. Let me bring you in closer to show you some of the things we're gonna have to work on this air compressor. Okay, here we are up close at the compressor, and maybe you can see the problems already. There's supposed to be 2 fittings right here where you can plug your tools into, but they're missing. Why are they missing? Let me turn it around and tell you about that. Here on the back side, you can see the manifold, that's what I'm calling it anyway, where you have 2 gauges, 2 fittings, and a regulator, which you can adjust the pressure of the line air. But it's not connected to anything. So how the user was using it, how the previous owner was using it was he was plugging his tools right into here, which does work, it will work. But the problem is this is an unregulated volume or pressure of air coming out. So basically you can run this, but you don't get to control what the pressure is. It's gonna be whatever the tank's pressure is what's gonna come out of here. So maybe it's 110, 120, 130 PSI. That may not be what you want to fill your bike tire, right? But he was like a roofer or some in the construction somewhere, so I guess he didn't care about that. But the way it's designed to work is there should be a line coming out of this pressure valve into this manifold. And then you can adjust the pressure to these with this regulator up here. One of these gauges will show the tank total pressure and the other will show the pressure coming to your line. It's all disconnected. I don't really know why, but I have a hunch that it's probably because the regulator itself started leaking. I think it's a pretty common problem, and the way the person decided to get around to that was just put the fitting right there and totally ignore the manifold and the regulator and everything. So I don't really want to do that though, because I want to know what the tank pressure is, how much air is in it, and I want to know how much pressure my line has. Like if I want to fill a bike tire, I don't want 120 PSI probably. So there's a couple different ways you can fix this. I went to the California Air website. You can buy this regulator, but comes with the manifold and everything. Doesn't come with the gauges, but that's about 50 bucks plus shipping. So it's kind of pricey, and I'd still need to buy the line, which is probably another 10 bucks. So you're probably talking like $75. Oh, and about price, I only paid 30 bucks for this machine, which I think is a steal because it's about 290 new. So one of the main reasons I wanted to get this is because it's quiet. I had a pancake compressor before and it was so horribly loud. I think those are, I don't know what they are, 80 decibels or something like that. This is rated at 60, which it's not a linear scale. So 60, here, I'll turn it on. You can still probably hear me. It's kind of a loudish talking level. It's not a big deal. I'm not shouting or anything. My head's right by it, no big deal. And I did fill it all the way up, and it does work. It holds air. There's not leaking. I just did the valve down here, letting the air, just letting the air out that I did put in it just now. A little bit of water came out. And there's actually one more thing I wanted to show you. There's one more thing I wanted to show you that was wrong with it. This machine, I mean, I think it has been used and abused and not taken care of well at all. There's supposed to be an air filter here, so the air that comes in doesn't get sand, dirt into the motor, etc. There's actually pistons on this, and part of the reason that this one's quieter than your standard one is because it's dual piston and they're going slower, I think 1600 RPM or something like that. But anyway, there's supposed to be an air filter here, and I don't know if you can see it, but not only is there not an air filter, what used to be a filter is broken off. So I need to figure out how to get that broken stuff off without getting the broken metal into the machine. So that's going to be a trick we're going to work on in a minute. Yeah, I already ordered a air filter though. I did buy an Amazon one, pretty cheapy, but I figure an air filter's an air filter, right? It just needs to let the air through and not the debris. But I got a 2-pack for like $8, $7, I think. So now I'm gonna try to get this out of here so when those come in, I can stick them on and do what's right with the world. Let's figure out what we can stick in there that we can rotate. I was thinking maybe I could do it with my finger, but that's not, doesn't feel like it's moving. I'm gonna get this, take this plastic thing off too to get it out of the way. Am I in the right channel? I thought this was a biking channel. There were a few videos ago you were riding across the state, and now what's this? You bought an old air compressor? Well, yeah, but the thing is an air compressor is a tool that, pretty much any bike shop would be lucky to have. It's not something you have to have. Lots of great home bike shops don't have tools, air compressors, but they sure do make it nice. I haven't had one in ages. And when I say ages, I haven't had a working, accessible air compressor. In probably like 30 years. And I'm just sticking random things in here, by the way, trying to get this out. What I don't want to do is crush it worse and send any of that debris into the compressor, that's for sure. But we gotta figure out a way to get this extra broken off metal out of there. Okay, I don't think this is gonna work. I got a punch here. I kind of wedged it in. And a punch, of course, is has a tapered bit, so I was hoping that might work. I have my Lucky wrench, is my favorite adjustable wrench. It's not working. It's not. Maybe somebody tried to take this off before and it broke off because it was too tight or something. You know, when you buy something used, oh, there goes a little piece of it. I don't know what kind of metal this is. Maybe it's plastic. No, it's metal. It's like a very crappy metal. Some kind of cast zinc or something. When you buy something like this, you're kind of buying somebody else's problem. Somebody else couldn't fix this. Somebody else didn't want to fix that. And so I'm raising my hand saying, I'll be the sucker. I'll be the sucker to try to fix this thing. Okay guys, I've been at it for a little while. I can't seem to get this thing to budge. Hit it, you know, at the right angle. Maybe it'll, there's really nothing to hit is the thing. Okay, maybe here. If you could just tap it at the right angle, it'll come loose. But I think maybe this has some thread lock on it or something, or a thread sealant. It's not making it easy. See, there's just not enough to bite on. And look, it just chips. It just chips everywhere. Okay, so what I was thinking to do is actually take this whole piece off, and then I can destroy it or whatever, not worry about it from whatever angle. So I see there's some Allen keys. I hope I'm not screwing everything up big time, making a simple problem much, much worse. Let me know in the comments if that's what I'm doing. These are pretty tight. Ah, what am I doing? I actually have the right tool for this, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Yes, there we go. Just long enough. Thank you, Capri Tools. They sent me these over years ago now, probably. And they said, just put them in your videos. There you go, Capri Tools. You're probably not watching no more. Comment down below, Capri Tools, if you're still watching. But I am still using your tools. Thank you, they're good. They've been good. I don't use them all the time, but there we go. Okay, got this last one over here. Okay, here we go. I think I got them all loosened up, so let's see if we can pull this off. I don't know what's going to be under it, frankly. I gotta take these out, I think, because I have to slide this. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Oh my, there is the piston itself. Holy moly. That makes me nervous. I wasn't exactly hoping to see that. So if you're wondering what it looks like inside the piston, there you go. Not sure what we're looking at. Not really sure what we're looking at here or anything. But I know I'm not going to touch anything. I'm not going to touch anything here. Okay, now that I got that off, you can kind of see the little piece that's stuck in there. And it's not like I can be reckless still, because this casting feels very delicate, you know. It's some thin pieces, and it has a gasket on it that I don't want to damage, so I still need to be careful, but I need to get that out of there. All right, this is the approach that I'm taking. I've put this in the vise this way. There's some bosses right here that are nice and flat. I didn't tighten that down very much, you know, because it's just an aluminum casting. And what I'm going to do is take a punch and just try to actually break up that delicate metal. So let's give it a go. This is threaded, so I also need to be careful not to damage the threads. So this is a very, very delicate process. And I'm absolutely praying to the shop gods that I don't ruin anything here. Guys, I don't know how I always find myself in these situations. What wrong choices did I make in my life? Okay, a little bit good. Okay, we're back. It's actually a couple days later. I ordered a set of Easy Outs. I've never actually owned a set of these or any of these, but I have used them in my dad's garage. So we're gonna try it out. Found one that fits in the set, and we're gonna try to see if this is easy to get out. Because I got scared chipping away the other day. God almighty, it's so tight. We may just break the Easy Out. I mean, because this thing is not budging. Why would it be so tight? I wonder if somebody put, you know, some kind of cement in it to lock it in or something. It's not moving. What's up with that? I'm also afraid to break the whole casting in the vise, you know, if I put too much pressure on it. It's not good. Why is this so? Why is it so? Why is it so in general? Yeah, I thought that would be easier. Okay guys, it is the next day, and in total I've probably spent about an hour trying to work on these threads. I've used the punch, as you saw before, to kind of cracking it up. I've used this file here, pretty heavy file, just to try to break up and get some of this off. What I think it is JB Weld. What my theory is one of the previous owners probably had a smaller fitting of some sort. They stuck it in, it didn't fit, and they just jammed it up with JB Weld, and it was a bear to get out. Then it's been a bear to get out. Then I also used this little file to help, and just kept on working on it and working on it. Like I said, I probably have about an hour into it. But after, like I said, probably an hour of just breaking it up with the file, it finally does go on and it fits. So now it actually does go on very nicely. I got this filter off Amazon, by the way. Now I need to try to reassemble this top piece onto the motor, onto the pump. Okay guys, now I am ready to reassemble the top end of this air pump, and I didn't do too much. I just used a new clean rag, just wiped things down a little bit to make sure there's no like metal or anything. I don't really know what I'm doing here, so I don't want do anything that might cause a problem. I'm just basically going to put it back right the way I found it. Again, I also did the same thing here, tried to go through with the rag just to make sure there's not like any loose metal from the work I did hanging about that can fall into here and cause a problem. So the threaded part is here. We're going to slide this on just like that, just the way it came. Now I did something else. Because this has what, 3, 6, no, how many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts holding it on, and it's an air pump. It needs to be pretty, precisely sealed. I know these have some kind of torque specification, but I don't know what it is. So what I did is I took my torque wrench. Thank you, Capri Tools, for this one, by the way. Whoops, there goes the bit. I need that. The only suggestion I will give you, Capri Tools, if you're watching this, on this is make these numbers a little bit easier to read because they're pretty faint. I really have to get into the light in order to see them. Right, so what I was saying, in order to determine what torque I need to torque this down to on each of these bolts, I went over to the other side and I started it really loose, I think 4 Newton meters, which is actually on this backside scale, which again is really hard to read. And then I kept going, kept creeping it up until the torque breaker on here was not triggering. What I came out to be was 7.4 Newton meters. So I know it's not exactly right, but I think it's close enough, and if I get it consistently around, it should be okay. So that's what we're going to do. Everything torqued down to 7.4 Newton meters, and just as a control, I can show you what it looks like to torque one of these down. See that? It moved a little bit, so it was actually a little less than 7.4. That one's exact. Okay, got these plastic pieces back on. Everything's ready to go, except, let's not forget the filter, the whole reason we went through all that. And I think this filter might make it actually quieter while it's running too. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. Did I screw anything up, or is it going to work? Of course, we won't see anything on the gauge. I'll just let it run for, 30 seconds or so. Then I'll shut it off and we'll listen for any leaks, see if there's any problems. Really, I could just let it go until it stops by itself, but that takes a while. I'm not going to let it go that far. I'm just going to let it go like 30 seconds, let it fill the tank some, then we'll let the air back out. Hopefully this doesn't make like any noise or just start smoking or something crazy like that. Here we go. Oh, it's definitely quieter with this air filter on. I'm kind of putting my hand around here. I actually do feel a little bit of air coming out the side, both sides. That's a little concerning. Oh, but it's part of the internal fan of the motor, I think, because it's on this side too. I think we have success. I think we did it. I'm not sure why that has a little bit of water already. I thought that was closed completely. Oh, it was open the whole time. Okay, let's try it again then. The valve open the whole time. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Maybe it'll put more load on this system though with that closed. Stop it right now. It does make me a little bit nervous that I can't see the tank pressure. Okay, so let's see if we got some air. It's all quiet. Let me listen. Yeah, everything's okay, I think. See, that's the air coming out right here. That's all the air we built up and collected in the tank. I'm letting out. A lot of air. Okay, it's another day. I'm back in the garage. I did take some parts off the compressor. I took this front panel off and I took the entire regulator and manifold assembly. So I decided what I'm going to do with this project is I'm not going to reuse this at all. You see, this here you can buy from the factory, a replacement, which includes the regulator, for about $47 plus shipping. But I also would have had to buy the hose that connects into the back that goes to the check valve, and that would have been another $15 plus shipping. So all in all, probably 70 bucks shipped for all that. And this manifold body, you can't buy just the regulator for it. And I assume the regulator is bad. Why else would somebody have bypassed it to begin with, right? So I assume the regulator is bad. I would have had to, they don't sell just a regulator, and I can't find one that would fit here. I looked quite a bit. I couldn't find really one that matches this. So I would have had to buy all of this, plus the hose, 70 bucks. And then if it ever goes out again, I would have to replace it once again. So rather than do that, I'm going to go with a cheaper route that also is more serviceable for less money down the road. So took that out. And what I did do though, I did buy stuff, don't worry. Bought this little regulator. I don't remember what the price is. I want to say like $13 on Amazon, came with the gauge. It's just a regulator though, nothing else. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to take this fitting here, attach it into this elbow. This elbow will go, this fitting with the elbow will go just like that. And this is just to get it up and away from the check valve, I'm calling it. And that gets you closer up to the panel. At this end here, we're going to put on the tank pressure gauge. Now that's the one part, I took this off of the old regulator manifold assembly. So this is a used part, but I need an adapter, which should be here tomorrow. That'll go on here like that, and that'll give me my tank pressure. Fine, good. So you have this adapter, you have a 90-degree elbow, you have a 2-inch pipe, and you have a T-fitting. Then we have just another adapter and a adapter nut just to get a little bit more distance. And what we'll do then is attach a regulator here, which I guess I'll turn kind of like this so I can read the gauge and then reach my hand over to adjust the pressure. And then if I can hold this all without it falling, then next I'll have another pipe, then another 90-degree, and then the fitting finally that you put your hose, connect any hoses to. So that'll be the whole setup. And then also with this here, I'll somehow try to attach that up here somewhere so it's all sturdy. So that's kind of my plan, and I think it'll work. This is, by the way, the first time I've ever worked on a compressor or really done any kind of work like this, so might be doing things wrong, but I kind of did my research, so hopefully I'm not doing it too badly. There we go. This was going to go here. Let me get some of this old tape off first, but then I'll attach that there. I spent about $6 getting some of these fittings from Home Depot, including this T. The nice thing about these fittings is it came with the thread sealant already on it. Just makes it a little bit easier. I really don't know how tight you're supposed to make these. You know, obviously I want it to seal, but on the other hand, I don't want to break anything. Just kind of trying to learn as I go. Alright, pretty much at the last piece here, other than the tank pressure gauge, which I'm waiting for the fitting. I decided not to use that 2-inch extension here. I just don't think it needs to be any longer than that. And in fact, I even thought about putting the chuck, I'm just going to call it the chuck, right here, right at the end. You certainly could do that, make it a little bit simpler, but I think having that 90-degree turn in the hose might not be such a good thing. So I'm just going to try it like this. Oh, it's tight now. That's very tight. Let's see if we can get it. Okay, we got it. It's going to work. Okay, here we go. So it's almost done now. I still need the gauge adapter here so that I can put in the tank pressure gauge right there. Have my line pressure gauge right here. I wonder if I can rotate that. Yeah, of course I can, because I didn't even do that one yet. So I guess I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, I got to thinking about it, and I thought, you know, there's probably a direction that the air is supposed to go. I read the directions like that, so I took the whole thing apart, and sure enough though, there is a little arrow. I'm just letting you guys know this in case you do this someday. You should look for some kind of indicator of the flow. At least I believe that's saying the flow goes that way, which basically means I had it backwards before. So got that right. And the other thing with that is before that we had the gauge like this way, because the whole thing was flipped around like that. Now I have just this nut, and I'm pretty sure I should be able to take this rather bolt off and put it on the other side and then mount my gauge in here. They didn't mention that in the instructions. The instructions are very minimal, although there is a QR code sticker on the body itself, which probably has more instructions, but I'm pretty sure that's the idea. That way you can have the gauge facing whatever direction you want. So got these for like $5 or $6 on Amazon. Basically they're just a reducer, so it's going to go from a 1/4 inch NPT to 1/8 NPT, and I need that because my old gauges that I'm going to use here are the 1/8 on this end. So this will screw on like that and allow me to put this gauge right here. Okay, here comes the moment of truth. I have everything hooked up and I have the machine plugged in. I just need to flip this switch and we'll see what leaks, if anything. I give it like a 50% chance something's gonna leak. There's a lot of fittings here. This is my first time doing this, but hey, let's give it a shot. See what happens. Here we should start to get the tank pressure, and here we should get the pressure at the hose. Now I didn't set this specifically. I think I hear a leak already, but it is gaining pressure on both of them. Oh my gosh, it's totally quiet. I'm actually shocked. I was getting scared. It was getting so high. It's almost into the red. I really don't hear anything. Okay, maybe it's actually working correctly and everything is fine. That's a freaking miracle. I got this little kit from Amazon. I'm not sure if I'm happy with it or not. Got this kit from Amazon, but like this hose is like way smaller than I thought it would be. Even this thing, it was like, I don't know, $18 or something. I guess I shouldn't have expected too much. Guys, I can't believe nothing is leaking and it didn't explode and it's actually working. I just want to plug something in to try it. All right, I'm gonna use this little tiny toy hose because I'm just too impatient. Whoa, this whole thing like moves, which kind of creeps me out. Like this whole assembly is rotating. Okay, wow. Here we go, the moment of truth. Here we go. Anyway though, we're still not really done here because I need to mount this more securely. Like this whole thing kind of, you know, it's just hanging on that piece. So next I'm going to try to figure out a way to use this mount to attach it maybe here or something like that. Oops, I don't know if you could see that. So what I was trying to say is I'll use this mount, which can rotate any way you want. And probably I'll just have it like this and then take a piece of sheet metal and bring it over, attach it up here. That way this whole thing will be nice and rigid. Okay, I did figure out how the regulator works. You have to lift this up. Then you can see now I have 25 PSI. I'll go up to like 30. There we go. That's better. And I put on this little black tip here onto the gun. Makes it feel like way more powerful. Cool. The last part of this project is finding a way to secure all of this, because as it is now, if you plug in your tools with this chuck, it's going to eventually bend and start to loosen those fittings. So we can't have that. We need to secure this all somehow. So what I did is I took a piece of cardboard. So knowing that I had these two mounts here on the regulator, what I did is I took some cardboard and kind of mocked up a panel that I could attach there and use these attachments like that. And this is what I came up with. I found some scrap wood in my scrap wood area, and I just copied my cardboard piece. I did have to tweak it a little bit, drilled some holes, and ended up gluing a piece on back here, which helps us reach the regulator mount like so. So that's what I came up with. Of course, kind of labeled it which gauges you're looking at, the tank or the hose gauge. Put my name and date on it. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this on now. I got some hardware. All this hardware here I just had in my scrap bin. These two bolts, I know they don't match. They're brass and they're like a Phillips head, but I had to get these at the hardware, like $1.50 for both of them. So that's going to work. And yeah, let's go ahead and fix it. Feels pretty solid. Of course, I left space here so you could still grab it. The only drawback is you can't reach the regulator controller too well, but you have to, you just have to reach over, no problem. But yeah, that feels pretty solid. I think we're done. I think this whole project is absolutely done, finally. This is all solid now. This is, fairly solid. Obviously, it could still rotate here, so I got to be a bit thoughtful about it. But I think our compressor project is finally totally done. Let's give it one final try just to make sure everything's working right. I'm going to plug it in, cross my fingers again, switch it on. Just as it says, that's the tank pressure, so we're going to be watching that to go up to, oops, I forgot the valve closed down at the bottom, the drain valve. Gonna let this get up to whatever it gets up to. 8 bar happens to be the mark that it stops on. And I'll set this actually maybe to 50. See if we can plug this in. I think it takes 2 hands. Yeah. There we go. While that's pumping up, let's talk about how much we actually spent. I'll try to do it off the top of my head. The regulator was about $15. I bought 2 fittings from the hardware store. I want to say it was about $6. I'll put it on the screen. I'm not going to try to add it up now. These were about $1.50, negligible. The hose plus the kit, that was $20 on Amazon. I think I paid $6 for 2 air intake filters, and I think that might be it. I reused my gauge, and my good friend John gave me this elbow fitting and also that other pipe fitting, the other elbow as well. So my friend John gave me a couple fittings. So in total I have 30. I didn't add the other numbers off the top of my head, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have about $60 in this whole kit, including this. Maybe 70. I'll put it on the screen. In hindsight, maybe I should have just got one for like 150 used. I have seen them for like similar price. I wouldn't have to go through all this trouble. There it goes. But the positive side is I learned a lot. I've never actually worked with compressors before, so this is all my first time. And I learned a lot. I didn't know anything. Now I know some. I feel like if anything broke or whatever, I could handle it. At least by replacing the part, I'm thinking about the pump itself. If the pump went out, then I would have to I'd have to just get a whole new pump. I don't think I'm ready to service the pump. Maybe. But anyway, it's cool. And rather than buying the manifold, which was like 60 bucks shipped, I like the way I have it set up here, because if anything goes out, these are all basically like standard off-the-shelf parts. Like if the regulator went out, okay, that's $15. Another regulator. All these fittings you can get at the hardware store. Yeah, it's all straightforward stuff. There's nothing specific to this machine. It's basically very default now. And I think it's going to do the job. It's nice and quiet. That's what I wanted. Has the aluminum tanks. That's what I wanted too. So, and I even like this. I'll bring you in closer. I feel like custom is a little too fancy of a word for it, but it's unique. It's my own. I'll give you a shot of the back real quick so you can see what it looks like, in case you are planning or thinking about doing a similar project yourself someday. The other benefit is I just like making things that were, maybe going to be thrown away or definitely getting pretty beat up. I like bringing them back to life and getting them working again. Bringing life to old things, it's cool, So really happy how it turned out. Now I just have to figure out where I want to put it somewhere in the shop. You'll probably see it in the background on my future videos if you watch them. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks everybody for watching, and have a great day. Bye.